What map unit centimorgan is adopted in the construction of gene maps? Answer: a unit of distance between genes on chromosome representing 1% crossover. Explanation: a unit of distance between genes on chromosomes representing 1% crossover unit centimorgan is adopted in the construction of gene maps. In genetics, a centimorgan, abbreviated cm, or map unit mu, is a unit for measuring genetic linkage. One map unit mu is about One map unit mu is about 100,000 base pairs on a physical map and corresponds to 1% recombination during meiosis. This means that one crossing over event between two loci that are 1 cm apart occurs in every 100 meiosis. Question number 9. Dominant plants of cold desert are: answer, low structure shrubs and herbaceous plants. Explanation: dominant plants of cold desert are low stature, stature shrubs and herbaceous plants. The dominant plants of the cold deserts are low stature shrubs and herbaceous plants. Algae, grasses, plants with spiny thin leaves are some of the example of plants found in cold deserts. These spiny thin leaves help to prevent the evaporation of water in the cold desert. The plant in the cold desert are salt bush, black sag, rice grass, and Chrysothemis. Deserts are dry and receive very little rainfall. Also, they are windy, which increases the evaporation rate. So, the leaves of these plants are adapted with the waxy coating to prevent or decrease the rate of evaporation. The plant here grow very slowly and have bright colored leaves to absorb more heat from sunlight. This slow growth helps them in storing nutrients during the process of photosynthesis and also survive the winter so that they can grow again in summer. These plants are good at storing and finding water, for which they have widely spread and shallow roots. The seeds of some plants are dominant till there is enough rain to grow. The the spines protect them from becoming prey to desert animals. The plants have an extensive root system wherein the roots can also come to the surface to soak up rainwater quickly or go deep down in search of water. Question number 10. Which is the best method of germplasm conservation? Answer: seed bank. Explanation: seed bank is the best method of germplasm conservation. Seed banks are the best method of germplasm conservation. Endangered plants are preserved in seed banks, which are also called germplasm banks. These are cryogenic laboratories with the facility of preserving seeds for up to a century or more without losing their fertility. It can also refer to a special kind of arboretum where seeds are harvested and the crop is rotated. For plants that cannot be preserved in seed banks for conserving their germplasm, the only alternative way is conserving their germplasm in its vitro storage. Here, cuttings of plants are kept under strict conditions in glass vessels. In a general sense, an arboretum is a botanical collection composed exclusively of trees, seeds of citrus fruits, avocado, coconut, coffee, cocoa, oak, papaya, walnut, and willow are some examples of species that are preserved in seed banks. Question 11. Select the incorrect statement with respect to given type of cell cycle. Answer. This life cycle is exhibited by algae and most seed bearing plants. Explanation. The incorrect statement with respect to given type of life cycle is this life cycle is exhibited by most algae and seed bearing plants. Given type of life cycle is haplod diplodic or diplohaplodic life cycle in which haploid gametophytic phase and diploid sporophytic phase alternate with each other. The gametophytic plant N produces gametes N, which fuse to give rise to the diploid zygote 2N. Zygote grows to form sporophytic plant body 2N. Meiosis occurs in the sporophyte at the time of formation of spores, and the spores germinate to produce gametophytic plants. Bryophytes and peridophytes exhibit this life cycle pattern. Algae exhibit haplontic life cycle pattern, and gymnosperms and angiosperms follow diplontic life cycle pattern. Question number 12. Which among the following is incorrect about numerical taxonomy? Answer. Numerical taxonomy gives the same result irrespective of the different sets of characteristics considered. Explanation. Numerical taxonomy gives the same result irrespective of the different sets of characteristics considered is incorrect about numerical taxonomy. Numerical classification is based on mathematical calculations based on observable characteristics. In this mode of classification, each character is given a number or a code. The more the number of similar characters, the more is the chance that they belong to similar taxon. The main disadvantage of numerical taxonomy comes with the variation in result with variation in set of characteristics. Question number 13. One of the endangered species of the Indian medicinal plant is answer Podophyllum. Explanation. One of the endangered species of the Indian medical plant is Podophyllum. An endangered species is a population of an organism which are at risk of becoming extinct because it is either a few in number or threatened by changing environmental or predation parameters. Podophyllum is such an endangered species of Indian medicinal plants. They contain phytophyllotoxin and podophyllum that is used as a purgative and as a cytostatic. They are also grown as ornamental plants for their attractive foliage and flowers. Extracts of plants are used for genital warts and some skin cancers. Question number 14. Carl Linnaeus is credited with answer binomial nomenclature. Explanation. Carl Linnaeus is credited with binomial nomenclature. Binomial nomenclature of scientific naming was first given by Carlos Linnaeus 1735 in his book Systema Naturae, and later in Species Plantarum 1753. He used two Latin words for any organisms, the first being generic name and the second is specific name. The generic name begins with capital letter and the species name with small letter. Question number 15. In which of the following bryophytes fragmentation of older thalamus the means of vegetative reproduction? Answer: Rechia. Explanation: vegetative reproduction is a form of asexual reproduction seen in plants. Plants naturally reproduce, but it can also be done artificially. Vegetative reproduction is mostly used in horticultural practices. From the given options, the fragment of older thallus is the means of vegetative reproduction in plants. Rechia is a genus of liverworts. This genus is named after an Italian botanist F. Ricci. They have a small flat dorsiventral thalloid body. They are dichotomously branched. The ventral surfaces of Rechia have a number of rhizoids and scales. They reproduce sexually as well as asexually. They reproduce asexually by vegetative reproduction. Question number 16. The fibers associated with phloem are. Answer: bast fibers. Explanation: fibers associated with phloem are bast fibers. Bast fibers are called phloem fiber or skin fiber. Is plant fiber collected from the phloem. It supports the conductive cells of the phloem and provides strength to the stem. Some of the economically important bast fibers are obtained from herbs cultivated in agriculture, as for instance flax, hemp, or rami. Question: grass leaves curl inwards during very dry weather. Select the most appropriate reason for the following. Answer: flaccidity of blue bulliform cells. Explanation: bulliform cells form fla- flaccid due to water loss. This will make the leaves to curl inwards to minimize water loss. Bulliform cells are the large, thin-walled, empty cells that occurs in the epidermis of many grass leaves, and that by their turgor changes cause rolling and unrolling of the leaves, thus regulating water loss. When bulliform cells are flaccid, the leaves of grass close as the two sides of the blade fold up towards each other. Once adequate water is available, the leaves open again. When folded, the leaves are less exposed to sunlight, so they are heated less, which prevents water loss. Question: which of these statements given below is not true about formation of annual rings in trees? Answer: annual rings are not prominent in trees of temperate region. Explanation: annual rings are not prominent in trees of temperate region is not true about formation of annual rings in trees. Grow Growth rings are formed by the seasonal activity of cambium in plants of temperate regions. Cambium is more active in spring and less active in autumn regions. In temperate regions, climatic conditions are not uniform throughout the year. However, in tropics, climatic conditions are uniform throughout the region, throughout the year. Throughout the year. Question: grafting is not possible in monocots because they lack cambium. Explanation: grafting is not possible in monocots because they lack cambium. Monocots cannot be grafted as they lack the cambium tissue. The dicot plants have the cambium tissue, which is a meristematic tissue and is present in the vascular bundles of the plant. This tissue has a regeneration capacity, because of which it can form new tissue at the time of grafting. The lack of cambium in monocot plants make it impractical to graft. This process only works with dicot plants and gymnosperms and not with monocots. In grafting, a freshly cut branch from one woody plant is taken and attached to the body of another plant at the place where a similarly sized branch was cut off. The branch is then firmly secured to the plant, and usually after a few weeks, the two grow together and become strong enough to support the new growing plants. Such joining of vascular tissue together is called inosculation. Question: lactiferous vessels are found in cortex. Explanation: lactiferous vessels are found in cortex. Lactiferous vessels are found in plants that produce latex. Lactiferous are connected horizontally to form long chains. Lactiferous or lacteal ducts are located below the phloem tissue cortex and never come in contact with the xylem vessels. Question: stomata opens when guard cells swell due to answer decreased water potential. Explanation: stomata opens when guard cells swell due to decreased water potential. When the potassium K concentration is high, water moves in and the stomata opens. When potassium leaves the guard cells, the stomata close. Pure water have the greatest water potential, and higher concentration of potassium reduces water potential. Thus, water will enter stomata due to decreased water potential in stomata. Match the following: iron required for chlorophyll biosynthesis, zinc IAA biosynthesis, boron pollen germination, manganese photolysis of water. Explanation: plants obtain iron in the form of ferric ions Fe3 plus. It is reversibly oxidized from Fe2 plus to Fe3 plus during electron transfer. It activates catalyst enzyme and is essential for the formation of chlorophyll. Plants obtain zinc as Zn2 plus ions. It activates various enzymes, especially carboxylases. It is also needed in synthesis of oxygen IAA. Boron is observed as BO3 3 minus or B4O7 2 minus. Boron is required for uptake and utilization of Ca2 plus, membrane functioning, pollen germination, cell elongation, cell differentiation, and carbohydrate translocation. The best defined function of manganese is the splitting of water to liberate oxygen during photosynthesis. Question: in which type reactions relate to plant photosynthesis peroxisms are involved? Answer: glycylate cycle. Glycosylate cycle. Explanation: glycosylate cycle reactions relate to plant photosynthesis. Peroxisms are involved. The glycosylate cycle centers on the conversion of acetyl CoA to succinate for the synthesis of carbohydrates. At later stages of plant, carbohydrates and biosynthetic precursors are provided by photosynthesis, and thus the glycosylate cycle is no longer essential. Basic function in plant: the glycosylate cycle occurs in special peroxisms which are called glyosomes. This cycle allows seed to use lipids as a source of energy to form the shoot during germination. The seed cannot produce biomass during photosynthesis because of lack of an organ to perform this function. Question: electron lost by PS2 are regained from? Answer: H2O, water. Explanation: electrons lost by PS2 are regained from H2O, manganese at the active site of water oxidation in photosystem 2. The KOK cycle is catalytic process by which the oxygen involving complex OEC of photosystem 2 PS2 oxidizes two water molecules forming oxygen. Question: drooping of the tamarind leaves after sunset is? Answer: phototropism. Explanation: drooping of tamarind tamarind leaves after sunset is phototropism. It responds by causing the elongation of the cells which are away from light and results in the bending of the stem or leaves towards the direction of the sun. This explains the drooping of tamarind leaves is caused due to phenomenon of phototropism.